what's been your favorite part of Denver Pop Culture Con for this weekend?
My favorite part has definitely been the Tara panel. It was a really big room, and it was filled like all the way to the top with the sweetest, cutest fans, and they were so welcoming and sweet, and just a great audience. And I was overwhelmed, like emotionally. Like I started to cry at one point, just saying how grateful I was to everyone for coming out and being supportive. It was very sweet.
So what, and Stuntman, by all means, jump in here.
Okay, there we go.
Looking over like your film history, tons of projects, and like you mentioned being able to meet the fans and like how it's gotten through so many of their lives. Like I looked through so many different shows that I grew up listening to and hearing different parts of, and all that kind of part. What if you had to pick one character out of all of it that would kind of be one that you could relate to the most? Which character would that be?
I probably relate to Bubbles the most because she's really sweet and loves animals, but she can kick some ass if she has to.
That kind of reminds me of my
there's a little of me. Yeah, there's a little of me in all the characters that I play, but I'm probably most like Bubbles.
And that kind of falls on my same. How much do you get, or do you enjoy being able to put you into that character and make that character really become you? Well,
there's always me in every character that I do. When you book an animated role and you're working on the show, you really imagine yourself in all of these moments, and you're overwhelmed. And when you're in these moments, like when the Joker dies in the Arkham game, I really cried as Harley in real life. It's an emotional journey that we go on with these characters, and we really become them. And so I see myself in so many of them, even if I'm an alicorn or a baby or a boy or, whatever it is. I really see parts of myself in all of them. And I've been so lucky to book so many iconic characters. There's not many people that could say I was Batgirl and Harley and Raven and Timmy and Bubbles and now Rocky J. Squirrel. And, it's just like there's all kinds of amazing iconic roles that have been gifted to me. And I take that honor pretty seriously.
So obviously he talked about that your voice work is just so prolific and it's huge. I mean, just looking at your filmography and all the voice roles you do, how is it different being a voice actor versus doing live action roles? Or is there a difference, or how do you approach it differently? Or
well, there's a huge difference. There's many huge differences, and they're both fun. I really love doing both a lot. For a voiceover, you don't have to worry about hair and makeup and lighting, and of course the day you come straight from the gym, they forget to tell you that Access Hollywood's coming to shoot behind the scenes. But there's still like this camaraderie and this real group effort to make these shows so enjoyable for everybody. When we do an animated series, we work as a full cast, so there's a similarity to that with an on-camera thing. But as the voiceover actor, you have to imagine all the action in your mind, and when you're doing something on camera, there's really sets and stages and props and all kinds of things. So they're two completely different worlds, although they're based in the same acting experience and techniques.
So a little while ago you discussed Harley Quinn a little bit, and I have to talk about that because she's one of my favorite characters. So you took over, you started with the DC animated universe with Barbara Gordon, Batgirl, in the new Batman Adventures. And that was an established character as well. And then recently, or I guess more relatively recently, you took over for Arlene Sorkin for Harley Quinn. How is it approaching characters like that who are more established, who may have had voice actors before, who have an established history, versus doing something brand new?
It's always a challenge, especially when a character is really revered and everyone loves Harley, and Arlene is the most beautiful, brilliant actress. I remember being in those sessions and just looking up at her and thinking how beautiful and talented she was. And when it came time to do the video games, well, one thing you always make sure as the voice actor that it's not a contract negotiation. If a show's making $1 billion but they don't want to pay their actors double scale and they say, do it or we voice match you, you don't really want to go out and try and beat your compadres, because then nobody wins if there isn't some sort of fair play. So it was not a financial decision. It was just that they wanted to take Harley to different vocal levels and really crazy action, and I was terrified to jump into those really extraordinary shoes, and I'm grateful that the fans are accepting of my Harley, because really Arlene is, and she was so gracious in interviews. She said in an interview, I thought anyone would ever take over for Harley. I would have hoped it would have been Tara. So it was really sweet. And she's more gracious than I.
So nobody you don't want to give up that role to anybody at that.
No, and every time I see someone else doing Harley, I get pretty mad. I'm like, I'm Harley. But that's the thing, is when you take over a character, like I said, you become them. They become a part of you. And it's any voice actor that says it's not heartbreaking to see someone else do a role that they helped bring to life is lying. I mean, that's why they're so compelling and they come through, because we love everything that we do so much.
So I want to kind of spin off that one. Looking through your history in that you played, I believe it was an episode or for a few episodes on the Lilo and Stitch TV show, doing adult Lilo. Stitch, hands down, my favorite Disney character like of all time. I think I annoyed him this whole weekend, walking around and like Stitch everywhere. Just kind of a little bit on it. Can you tell? I mean, I know it's been a few different years now back, but can you tell me a little bit about that character or that kind of...
So I was Angel on that show, and that was a really big, successful character. And, initially she was brought on as a bad girl. She was trying to sort of use her cuteness and prowess to get the aliens to do whatever she wanted to do. And then she sort of falls in love with him and changes. And in the audition, they wrote her song that entices them to follow her. And they just had the lyrics, and I made up the tune in the audition. And I just went, and I did the whole song, and they liked it so much that they orchestrated it to my tune, which was pretty cool. And she's awesome. Such a cute, beloved character. I mean, the merch on her is so cute.
Secret Life with Pets 2. Can you tell us a little bit about... I've seen a ton of promos on that one.
I play a really cute character named Pickles. He's a really funny dog. And a whole bunch of other incidental characters. A lot of those big films are sort of cast with A-list celebrities, and then they bring in A-list voice cast to do the looping session. So we all get to do little bit parts here and there. Like, if you ask me to say every part I am in Pets 2, I don't know. Because we also try them out, and then later the producers will pick who they liked for which role. Awesome. But I love those movies. They're so cute.
I was just going to ask, besides Secret Life of Pets 2, any other upcoming projects you want to talk about before we end this?
Well, I'm doing Ben 10 and Unikitty and Teen Titans and a bunch of Harley stuff. DC Superhero Girls is a really big hit. It's so cute. Lauren Faust, it's a redesign, and it's just beautiful. I did a movie that there's a Kickstarter for called... what's it called? Witness Infection with Carlos Alazraqui. It's really fun. And then, of course, everything I do on my social media to raise money for different charitable causes at Tara Strong. That's it.
So let's kind of, if we can talk about your social media real quick before we have to wrap up. I know Roxy at some point is going to throw the phone at me. Tell us about your social media. You're very outspoken on there. You very much go after the causes that you believe in, and really get to really interact a lot with everybody on there. Can you tell us just kind of some of what you have going on there and what you're kind of working on?
I love the ability to reach people all over the world, and when there's a sick kid or a kid that's being bullied, when you have good people from everywhere saying, I'm here for you, I'm with you, even if it's not financial, it's such an amazing thing for these families. There was a girl a few years ago I was raising money for that had cancer, and every time she had a surgery, everyone from around the world would Twitter message the dad and say, we're here for you, we're with you, sending you good thoughts. And she ended up passing, but the family had all the resources financially they needed and all the love from around the world, and that's a gift that you can never, ever put a price tag on. And when I have, 400,000 Twitter followers and I say, hey, this kid needs our help, can you donate $1? And they get even half of that, that's a great thing. And so I like using it for kids and for animal rescue, and I love the charity races, which helps reunite the kids that have been separated at the border. All kinds of just, anytime I see a good cause that I feel pretty strongly about, I'll raise money for, and I'll say, if you donate $25, I'll follow you back, and $50, I'll send you an autograph. And it's pretty fun to see, the donations going up and see that I can make a difference even a little bit.
That's so awesome.
That really is. Thank you for taking the time to do this. Is there any social media plugs you want to make sure we get covered?
For sure, on my Twitter, at Tara Strong, also at Tara Strong on my Instagram, and Tara Strong on Facebook.
All right. Guys, thank you for listening to this episode of the show. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And we look forward to keep hearing your voice throughout all of our shows.
See you later, guys.
Bye, guys.